Let's listen to Secretary Buttigieg. Here's what he said when he was being pushed about East Palestine and the relative inaction.
The White House is saying the president will go there. It has not happened. Can you tell us today when the president will make that visit for the people who continue to struggle in East Palestine?
Well, I'm really glad that you asked about East Palestine. I don't have any scheduling news to make.
I know you're not at the White House, but I just want to put a fine point on this. You're not saying today when the president will go.
I don't have scheduling news to make.
He's really happy they asked about East Palestine. He wouldn't talk to me. I know Pete Buttigieg. We've spoken many times. The White House wouldn't come near me. I know all the players in the White House very well. The president literally flew over East Palestine on his way to Detroit. What am I missing? Is it because nobody died yet?
I guess it's that, but I don't even think it's that. I tell you the truth. I think there's a stubbornness out of the White House where Fox News and others have been poking them. Why don't you go? Why don't you go? You know, the poor white people in Southern Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, they don't like you anyway. Don't bother going. I think there's a loop, a very destructive loop. It's going on in the dialogue. If I lived there, it's only 90 miles from where I am now, and that train, you know, Noel, my camera guy, told me that train came through Northeast Ohio, came right through Cleveland. You know, 1/3 of a million people came down the tracks, the company-owned tracks to Palestine. Could have been that wheel bearing could have failed anywhere along the line. It just luck of the draw. It happened in that community, modest community. You're right. I mean, if you have purple water and they're slick whenever you have a puddle, you know, you worry that black smoke could, you know, affect your health, your children's health, if not today, going forward. Look at all the lawsuits about the pile in 9/11 and the burn pits in Afghanistan and so forth. There's a residual, and you know, what if your wealth is in your home? Your basic wealth, that's where your family, that's your family's future. Who are you going to sell that house to? So I'm with you. The president should have gone there. He should have, you know, been the you know, consoler in chief, just the way he did so many other times, so many other places. And I really worry that it was just people being pissed off at the politics of it that caused him to make a bad move, Chris.
The weird thing to me is, one, I see tremendous opportunity in it. One, because the president happens to be great at being empathetic. Perhaps the biggest material difference between him and his likely opponent, the former president, Mr. Trump, would be that if it's an empathy contest, Joe Biden's going to win. And that's what being there is about, that and giving them attention, which he can do with a wave of his hand. The second thing is the media won't go near it either. I can't tell you how many of our brothers and sisters in the media, when I said I was going to East Palestine, were either like, why? Or, oh, good for you getting back into the Middle East. It's good to see you getting out there. They thought I was talking about Palestine. Why are they so hands-off? I mean, is this proof that they're just giving cover to the White House, or is it pack mentality? What's going on?
I can't tell you that. It just seems to me it does have a bit of a stink of partisanship. Does it help or hurt Joe Biden? Does it help or hurt Donald Trump? Too often, I think editorial decisions are made on the basis of that kind of partisan favoritism. It's sad. It is a testament to who we are in this industry, I think, and people don't want to know about it. They want to watch whatever they watch and know that whoever is speaking the same language that they are, have the same feelings that they do. I say, you know, either applaud when they do something right or boo and hiss when they do something wrong, and hell with the political parties. You know, I know you want to talk later on about Dianne Feinstein. And, you know, to me, it is so very sad that people can't make a judgment on the value of someone without making it partisan until they die. It's a pathetic thing, Chris.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.